好了，今天我来讲第二个重要的后期上一课我们讲了白平衡，就是这一个，对不对？之后下面这一个就是第二个最重要的那我们先来看看上面的 histogram， 中文有时中文我也不知道是什么东西，因为我学的全是英语，我不知道中文是什么了好像 histogram 他们说是方块图，是不是啊？那你
老师，中文叫直方图，他们叫。
直方图不是方块图。OK， 好，我来讲一讲这个东西。你看，有很多颜色的，只要是表现这张照片的亮度，如果在这边的时候是很黑了，这边是很亮了。现在这个情况之后，它们在中间，所以的亮度是最好的。那如果我有一张这么黑的照片，你看是不是全部在左手边？它显示是照片很多黑的地方，如果是很亮，你看，如果真的很亮，是不是全部在最右手边是亮？但是有些时候我们不能全部看这个 histogram， 好像这张照片，你可以看到它差不多说很多是在黑的地方，但是你看的照片上片就是很多很亮的地方，但是不是太多，所以有一点点可以用来是 reference。为什么我们说这个 histogram？ 现在我来看看下面的东西。对，let me see。Now, highlight, shadow, white and black， 它们是对着干的。如果这个 highlight 往左手边去，很多时候 shadow 我就右手边来去，它们就对着干了 ，opposite。那在这里有怎么样来看到了这个地方就是 highlight， and 这个地方就是 white， shadow and black。所以你看这个地方就在 histogram represent 代表的东西，如果 highlight 就是你在调，就是在调最亮的地方，的 white 就是中间多一点比较亮的地方 ，shadow 就是比较黑的地方 ，black 就是全黑的地方，所以你知道它们的位置在哪里了。 但是你知道也可以。很多时候我没有特别的看到这个东西。那之后我们再来看的就是 exposure and contrast。为什么他们有2个，最后的4个呢？这个是差不多大部分的。如果你在调，是不是全部都来调 ？contrast 就是将一个硬一点、solid 一点，但是最后的呢，微调，你可以每一个 area 来改。那你看，上面这2个就是全部大部分的来改。那当你在 hit 的时候，你看要留意这个地方，就是 highlight。那现在我就知道一点点之后，现在我们来做这个后期了。如果一张照片，我就中间一点的、平均一点的亮度，你可以也是最开始的时候，你可以用 auto 自动，这样呢来看看给你的有没有好的地方这个之前的，当你的改了之后，是不是很好很多？我们再来重新。如果你觉得亮度来调，是不是？你可以，当你的右手边这很缩了一点，但是不是太好。我们有很多时候我很少用全部来调，通常是用这个。那 highlight 是怎么样啊？好像这个东西是很亮，对不对？但是如果你用 highlight 的时候，看看一个呢，他们的 detail 传不出来了。highlight 只要是将这种亮的地方的的 detail 放得出来。shadow 的对着干了，当你一个左这是黑右，你看到有一点区别吗？当你是很黑的时候，当你真的亮了，差不多也可以。但是有些时候你觉得这个地方是不是很亮了？你觉得微调一点，这是 white， 就是这个 ，sorry， 刚才我说错了 ，highlight 就是这个area，highlight and white 我搞错了 ，white 就是最亮的地方，你可以这样就调了简一点的时候，这个也低一点。那 black 就是最左手边那个地方，你看看，那你可以全部全黑。当然，你可以拉大一点的时候，是不是？整张照片你看出来，这是之前微调之前 reset 刚才的照片，同时你在处理改了之后，是不是你看的最亮的地方清楚多一点？没有过吧？这个地方也就能出来，完全是这个光亮度的改变。如果你们说很多地方我可以后期来做的时候，那么拍照的时候我不用理会，对不对？如果拍一张，我也可以用后期来改了，这个是没可能了。差不多的情况， 如果在这个情况，也是太差的情况，你可以用后期来改一改，可以来改变。但是那么差的情况，你真的没可能改。为什么？你可以尽量来调，你见到了吗？这个就是 noise 触点，原来颜色的这种这个 color noise， 哎，但黑的时候，如果太黑了，当你真的调的太多的时候，它就会出现一个color noise 颜色的触点，they call it color noise。所以你没可能很黑的地方，你没可能改变。所以你在拉的时候，你要知道，好像这张照片，这样我来 reset， 你也可以来改变。但是你知道，当你拉多的时候，是不是呢？我可以放大一点给你看，是不是的 noise 触点很多？你可以拉得很亮，但是呢，这个 noise 就是很多。相比这样，你拉了很多的时候，它不是简单的 noise， 就是颜色的呢 color noise 也出现了，这个好一点。所以你们在push 的时候，你不可能拉的太多，所以拍照的时候，你尽量拍的好一点，之后再微调一点，你不可能真的很差很差很烂的片子，你可能你就在想来拉好一点，这是没可能的。我可以给你看一看舞台。reset。拍舞台的时候，你可以知道，这样如果是这张照片的时候，你可以来调。当然，我可以开始的时候在 exposure 全部拉亮，但是你不能太多。很多时候我这个说的这个小小，当你留意这个地方。当你拉的很亮的时候，如果你想这个地方也见到的时候，这脸是不是过了很多？所以你不能扯的太多。这个时候你可以用 shadow 就是中间这个比较黑的地方，不是最黑的了，你可以用 shadow 来拉多一点。shadow， 你看是不是后面的东西也看到一点？但是如果你用最黑的 black 拉的时候，你看 the noise 也出现了，因为太多了。所以很多时候尽量很黑的地方，你不用拉的太多，因为拉的太多的时候就很多 noise。你就知道这样黑的地方拉了一点点。如果脸太火爆的时候，你可以赶小一点。所以这个是没有东西你改变，是很小很小的改变，你就可以。如果真的太多的时候，很多时候就没可能了。可以用这张来，这个用闪光灯来拍了，基本上没有什么问题。但是你看这个地方是不是很亮？只有你这 highlight 中间的地方赶小一点，你看看是不是它这个它的 detail 出现了，但是不能太多，哎，太多的时候，它可以真的变得黑了，哎，这个情况之后，你可以将它的 shadow 拉一点，哎，所以看情况，很多时候你不能拉的太多，哎，来小一点，哎，它的 detail 出来的时候，这样子shadow，所以很多时候这下面两个很多时候我尽量少用，因为这个通常 highlight 跟 shadow 也差不多好了，哎，就是 before after，哎，所以那个 detail 出来了，哎，我可以用那这样。右边，如果你看这个 reset， 真的，我知道拍风光很多时候他们就是拍的很黑的，为什么？他们只要是光亮的部分，你的 detail 你要拍得出来。如果是 over 的时候，就没有这个 detail 了。他们是黑的地方你可以拉出来，但是如果是这个地方过曝就很难拉，所以拍风光很多时候他们只有是最亮的部分detail 拍了出来的时候，这些部分很多时候也可以来，我可以用 auto 来尝试 auto， 你看只有 auto 差不多全部的人跟你可以看得出来，哇，好像真的很差，但是 detail， 那你看它自动，哎，当我detail 小的时候，是不是的 detail 出来了？哎，如果你这里没有的时候，来亮的时候就没有，所以就能对着干，哎，这个地方当你多的时候，你可以来的亮一点，哎，之后，对吧？ and then the black 就是最黑的地方，哎，你也可以这样，哎，但是这个noise 不是太厉害，哎，所以你看，从一张这样的照片，只有你用通就可以调出一张这个样子的照片了，哎，很多很多的 example， 哎，我这个 example 就是你也可以用这个地方来改 ，OK。All right, so 现在 we try to do it in English. All right. First of all, we have to know a little bit about the layout of this thing. Today, I'm talking about today I'm talking about the tone. Basically, it's this section. Right. And first of all, we need to know a little bit about the histogram. The histogram, basically, they show the brightness of the picture. Right? And let's say if I use this one, this is pretty much in good shape because the brightness, if it's good, will be in the center. Right? If it's like over this area, that means it's too bright. And over this area, if it's too dark. Let's say if I give you an example of this thing. If I have a very dark picture, this one, let me reset it. See the dark? Everything is shown on the left. That means it's telling you when you look at this one, oh, the picture too dark. Right. So if this picture, and let me see, do I have a brighter picture? No. Not really. So now you consider this is pretty bright. It's pretty much on the right side. Right? If I push it all the way to the over, everything is to the right side. So I'm telling you that this is pretty bright picture, but sometimes it's not that accurate. No, I can say it is much more accurate. And what I'm saying now, if this photo telling you this overall is dark, right? It's telling you, hey, it's too dark. Let me see, I'm gonna use this one. Telling you too dark, but there are certain spot is over. Right? So yes, it's dark, but if you change it, you see that this area is way over. So that means sometimes you use it as a reference, and but you have to really look at the detail. There might be, it's so dark, and it's only one bright spot in the center. It showed all the picture too dark. Actually, it's not. Right? The reason I'm showing this histogram because it's also related to this fourth section. Right. And then the highlight is this section. And then the white is this section. And then shadow, this section. And then the black is this section. Okay. Now, the first two is the overall, the brightness, and the contrast. That means how solid is the color, right? And then you can consider this four is a fine tune. Now, let me give you an example of what it is about. Now, if this picture, now, first of all, I can use auto and see how the software suggests, right? The software suggests, okay, not bad, right? But you can, first of all, you can use the two slider to, you can see that when you hit it, it show the color in here. You can also use it to change it, and then it show where the location. You can just overall change the overall brightness of the picture. Now you can say that, okay. And then when you do this contrast, you see that how solid, when you do that, it's just like hazy look. But if you do it on the right, the color more rigid and more solid. Right? So that is the contrast. That's now using these two slider to change the overall brightness of the picture. But when you do that, you see this area is way over, no detail. Now what you can do, you can just change the highlight. When you decrease the highlight, pay attention to that. You see this? It all showed up. You will bring out all the detail. Right? Why highlight and then go to shadow? Because they are two opposite. Most of the time when you do this, you can see that the brightness of the picture, overall picture, is dimmer, right? So you can just bring it out. So they just go the other way. So now you can see that before, after, right? And then when you see this one, if I feel that it's a little bit over, I can just cut down the glare. And then this one is the black. It's a really dark spot, right? So if you say that, all right, I can take a picture and then use post-production to change editing. So I need to worry about my setting. I just snapshot a photo I can do editing in here, but certain degree you can say that yes. But if the picture is just roughly like that, you can do that because software can do only so much. Let's say if you have a picture like this, it's so dark, you can say, all right, I can do it. See, I can bring it to brightness editing, right? And I can just change to the bright light to the brightness. But can you see that? When you're too extreme, this is noise. And this is called a color noise. You see that is there are certain two types of noise. One is the black and white noise, and then this is the color noise. You can see that. Now, if this photo, if I push it up, you can see that. You can push it. Can you see that? That is only black and white noise. But if you're too extreme, you can see that they become like color. That is called a color noise. So that's why you cannot push it too much. You think that, all right, I just take a picture like this and I can use it. All right, I just bring it bright higher, but you will create a lot of noise. So you can't do it. So you at least you have a good average, right? And then that's how you cannot push it too much. If you push it too much, there's a lot of noise. So that's the reason. And then you have rough like that, and then you just use the highlight to bring out the detail and brightness a little bit. Now, if you feel that there's a lot of noise, right, what you can do, you just bring down the black. And then the shadow. All right. So this is before and after. Okay. Now I can show you this one. Now, if this one, now you know that on the left-hand side is so dark. Now, like this histogram, it will show that, all right, the picture too dark, and you're just like, oh, okay, I just push everything to this. I just put everything to this side. You think to push everything to this side? No, and then this guy will be way over. So that's why sometimes you just use it as reference, but you cannot really lean on the histogram. You have to look at the overall. So now for this one, I know the main character is this. So I want to push it up a little bit high. I don't want to do it too high. When you do it too high, you see that the face is way over and then the noise come out. Right. So you just like average. And then I will put a little bit more detail, and then bring out the shadow. And then the contrast. And then now one thing you need to pay attention, right? For portrait, you cannot push the highlight too much, especially girls, because when you glue the highlight too much, all the wrinkles, all the detail will show up. So that's why if it's a portrait, you don't want to do it too much, right? So only when something like this and all this, the other stuff, you can detail, you can bring it out. So now for this one, you can also see before and after. And that is before and after. You can pretty much use that. Now I can give you an example of this detail. Now, we do this, all this thing, right? And then you can see that all the detail in it. When the picture is pretty okay, right? It's already good. But you can see this is too bright over, right? When you just pay attention to the highlight, when you do the highlight, boom, can you see that? All the detail showed up. Right. But when you do that, you see that the brightness seems like dim a little bit, you can just bring it back a little bit. Now you can see this area is over, right? And then you can use the light, see where I can do it. No, the best you can do. And then when with it more solid. Now, one thing when you see the bigger this sky, maybe the noise, so you can use the black to push it down a little bit. Okay. And then because this one is a little bit that you can just maybe just bring out a little bit. So this is before, after, and then pretty much is the detail that you can highlight in that. So there's a couple of things you can do. And then now this stage. Now this one, you can say that it's not bad, it's okay. But the other thing is you see the hair in here is kind of blending. You want to see maybe I can bring out the shadow. See, I can bring out the shadow. And but when you bring out the shadow too much, you see the noise, right? So you don't want to bring it too much and the noise. So for stage, usually you don't want to do it. And then you can even push out more to see that, but you don't want to show too much of that. That's why a lot of time you don't want to do too much on that. And then let me see. Now, can you see that? If it's even like you highlight too much and it's, the brightness of the thing. So usually portrait, we don't do a lot of things, right? So you just a little bit, and then you can even bring out the brightness, the overall, and then darken it. And then this is before and after. All right. So you have an idea what this 4 slider do, and show you this extreme. Now for landscape, I know a lot of the time they just do it underexposed. The reason they want to the detail on the sky, they don't want to be over. When this is over, you cannot bring out the detail, right? So that's why some people, they like to underexpose, and then the rest you can through post-production to correct it. Now, like this one, now this is reset, nothing changed. This is what when you do auto, boom, totally different. See that? But when you do that, you just like a wash, so we can highlight it, right, and bring out, make it a more detail in that, and then shadow to bring out a little bit more. You see that they're the opposite, and then the bright may be a little bit, and you don't want to like over, and then the black make it more solid. So overall, you can use the 4 slider. See that? One of the, if you send out, share this photo, people, whoa, terrible. But when you do this, wow. So is it fake? I don't know, and that's the way to know. The only thing is you can see it, but the camera cannot capture it. That's the problem. So we just use the post-production to bring back what you see. Of course, when you do it, sometimes people like do it over. So this is the basic overall brightness in it. But of course, we can do that a little bit more. And then later we can even do curve. And then even we can brush. And then we can brush a certain area and then brush. And also we can, HSL, and then you can bring up, the detail, and then, but those are more advanced, right? You can individually, and then do all the color, all kind of stuff, and then, later. Right? So, but right now, you just concentrate on this four thing. And then is pretty much, you can do it for a lot of stuff. Okay, any questions? 有没有什么问题？
打开，老师，我有一个问题，就说 highlight 和 shadow，is a group， black and white， 好像 highlight、shadow 和 black and white 都是调亮和暗。那么我想知道它的差别，也就是说，我可不可以理解为 highlight 和 shadow 是整张这个图片的亮暗，而 black and white 是 specific 这张图的白的地方那一块 object， 或者 black 黑的那个暗的地方 more specific. So the difference is more overall versus specific. Am I right?
No, you're totally wrong. So, and what I say, the Lightroom when they lay out, 他们的放的时候是对着干的，你可以white balance 白平衡。为什么他们这两个方案？如果蓝的时候，你就这个红这来调 ，is opposite. They always like opposite. That's the purpose of the layout. And then when you do this 4 item, then you see the highlight in this area, right? Highlight in this area, and then shadow is this area, right? And then they said, why they not putting highlight and white together? Because highlight and white is all they pretty much like opposite to each other, right? When you do this, and then you just have the black going into this. They just like opposite. And then the one that you mentioned is they have fine-tuned each section. You see that when you do the exposure, it pretty much is the whole picture, right? When you do the left and right, the whole thing slide left and right. But when you do this, like this, when you do highlight, you can only take care of this section. And then the shadow, you can only take care of the section. But you see the exposure, you can move them all the way from the left to the right. See that? So this is pretty much like a fine tune per section.
Okay.
Highlight take care of this section, and this one take care of that section. And then the white take care of the really bright section. And then the black really take care of the really dark section. So it depends on the photo. Now, if you have like this stage photo, and then I said, I don't care about the black because this is, if it's dark, it's okay. So I just take care of this area, right? You see that? It just take care of this dark area.
Okay.
But if you using the exposure, all right, I want to dark it dark everything.
Right.
So that's why all this 4 slider is like specific for certain area. It's not the overall. That's the difference between them.
Okay, so every single one of them represent a different section. I understand. Okay,
Different
thank you.
section, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's question 1. Actually, question 2 is now usually when you do contrast, right? 一般都是往右边拉，因为就是反差对比要大一点，很少你往左边拉吧。Contrast, I'm asking.
Not really. Just like highlight, right? 很多时候我们说真的就是左右两边，但是有些时候它可以就是这个样子的，也可以哦。所以但你看什么样的情况，但是我跟你说，很多时候我就跟 exposure and contrast， 我很小用的差不多的人之后的 detail 通常我是用 highlight shadow and then 之后 texture and then dehaze 来改变它的对比度。通常就是你看这个是 overall， 但是上面全部是 fine tune 之后的一个 fine tune 将来我也在讲了，这个也是 fine tune 的 contracts。
好，谢谢老师。
OK.
I'm sorry. 最后一个 quick question. I have one more question. That's it. OK， 你那个直方图上面呢，那个颜色哈，有时候它是比较wide， 有时候比较 skinny. Alright. So what is that? I know in the center is good. Left is too dark and right is too bright. But what can you explain a little bit? What is the difference when the design, the histogram shows when the color part is wider?
Well, it just right now, this show the picture is too dark, right? But is this picture too dark? Not quite, right? Because the main character is bright enough. The dark part, I don't care. So the whole picture is dark. So when you show that, they said that overall the picture is dark, so it's going to the right side. So you're just like, all right, let me change it, whatever. But it's not really the case. If you just push everything to the center, now you just like, all right. But can you see how terrible the picture? Right. So that's why right now you push everything to the center, but the main subject actually is over. So you can't really just. To me, I just feel like just for like a little reference, but sometimes I don't really care. I just make sure that. But the way I mentioned, you just need to know where is this slider represent in the histogram. Right. Just like this picture, you can't really just push everything to the right and make it, today. Yeah. So, and then it showed the color, the blue, the red, and then the green, the RGB color. And it showed, how many red, how many green, how bright is that, because this is more yellowish. So that's when they're more yellow. Right. So this is how they show. The overall, it showed this gray color. It showed overall is dark. Yeah, that's the histogram. Yeah. For reference, to me, I don't really use it a lot, but just for reference. Yeah.
谢谢。
还有问题吗？没有就可以 we can call for the day. 没有了可以 show you a little bit more on this one, right? 你看这个 I can show you one thing. Now, shortcut. I always use a lot of shortcut. Letter I. Can you see that? The screen, when you hit the I, letter I, you see this thing? It's called information. Now, it's just like a cycle. First hit, 它会检视什么时候派大小，最后再 hit 那个1/20秒2点半6,400。你看我拍这个是原来的照片，全部没有改变了。你看 overall， 你可以跟我说，哇，你可以的1/20秒我拍出来，没有手持了。你看 how detailed it is. And 6,400, 哇，你用那么高的 ISO， 你的相机你可以做到了吗？所以最后我这个 auto 主要是因为这灯是黄色的、蓝色的，每个人，当然我可以 现在我可以在真的white 之后将来再讲，已经差不多就可以了。那我们现在 what it did to highlight, you see all this, we do the highlight, see, we do the highlight, but you don't want to push it too much. 当你真的太多的时候，它也是黑了。如果你黑的时候，你在推亮的来亮的时候，这个 noise 就很大了。你真的不能推的太多，只要你黑的地方在想，你不想真的 noise 太多，所以 that's it, before, after 差不多。所以舞台很多时候的舞台，我们拍就是这样 the black always cut down a lot of the black, because you don't want to create a lot of noise. All right, so 如果没有什么问题，就今天就差不多了。Okay? You can stop recording, Ruby.
谢谢老师。
谢谢老师。
谢谢老师。